Yeah, hello, this is Dave from cheapbooks.com, and I want to present to you another design that I've created for a map for video games, tank games such as World of Tanks, Armored Warfare, etc. So one of the ideas that I had was I wanted to make a map, first of all, that had a little bit of a rough terrain. I really don't like the flat terrain that's found on a lot of maps. So the map has to be somewhat hilly. And the concept of this map is that it's a mountain, but it's more like a mountain pass, and it's kind of like the side of a mountain or the corner of a mountain. So the spawn point for one team would be over here, and what they would do is they would head up. The heavy tanks would go into this middle area, which goes through the map, and this would be probably the meeting point between both teams. They would meet in this little area, the heavy tanks, and the combat area, and there's a level where tanks can go higher on either side if they're, either a scout tank or whatever, even a heavy tank, of course. And there's obviously the lower section, which is for faster tanks and for medium tanks. And it doesn't have to be sculpted exactly like this. It's just an idea that I came up with. I didn't really spend a lot of time on it. Where basically the fast tanks are going to have this lower area possibly going into the water. I mean, it's irrelevant to me. I would have it personally so that they don't go into the water. But they have a lot of open space over here, a lot of terrain, and we could put buildings or a town or something like that. And then the other spawn would be on this side of the map. Obviously, I picked that as a location, but it could be anywhere on this area. And again, the heavy tanks would head through this central area for their main combat. And it would obviously be good for them for many reasons. And of course, there's going to be some heavy tanks that are going to come alongside over here into the lower area and fight around these corners. There's also another way, which is the upper area. It's not terrained completely, but as you can see, there is an access way on the back side over here. And the access way allows you to climb up into the upper level over here. And it's a little bit steep because I didn't spend a lot of time with the terrain tools. But this is the type of terrain. It is very steep right now. It needs to be smoothed out a little bit. And you can access the upper level from both sides. Either team can get up into the upper area. And the upper area, obviously, any sort of tank would be able to go up into here. Again, this is way too steep. It needs to be flattened out. It takes a long time to do the terrain sculpting. And because it's not an actual map for a game, I'm not designing it to be an actual playable map. It's just a premise for a map. So you would take this idea and incorporate it as a map into one of the games. I like to play World of Tanks, and that's the game that I would like to see it incorporated into. Okay, so that's my map design. It didn't come out exactly the way I wanted it to. It is rounded over here. I wanted the roadway to be rounded. I wanted it to come around. So basically, when you hit your spawn, instead of coming through the center part, you would have to come around the mountain, no matter what side that you're playing on. And I thought that was the most fun way to put it. You could put a little S-curve. You can make a little zigzag in it. Okay, so that's the map. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.